Alright, so the second week of every month is a magical time known as Coro Coro season. That Coro Coro is a Japanese manga magazine that publishes on the 15th of every month. However, it leaks information early to various communities that include like gaming and just Japan culture and stuff like that, as well as manga and anime, and that's where we get our information from. Now, this generally happens between the 8th and the 14th of the month, where we get a good idea as to what the Pokemon feature is going to be inside of Coro Coro. Now, the reason why I'm making this video is to kind of just settle a lot of the misinformation, as well as tell you guys what's going on, because I see a lot of questions, I see a lot of comments, so let's talk about Coro Coro, because, hey, it looks like we might be getting it tonight on the 11th, or something like that. So it's good to get this information, especially as we go into a new Pokemon game. A lot of new Pokemon fans out there don't really understand what's going on, so I'm here to kind of fill that in. So a lot of people will say, I'm an idiot, I'm wrong, Coro Coro leaks on the 15th, why am I talking about it so early? Well, that's actually incorrect, because on the 15th, that's when it publishes. That's when we get all of the information about all of the Pokemon news inside of the Coro Coro. Sometimes it's happened in the past where we get the leak early, but it's not all of the information, and then more of the information becomes available. But generally, we can expect the leaks around the 10th. That's kind of like the most common date, I believe, and even then, like, the 11th is a very safe bet, but sometimes it's even earlier, so around that second week, you know, after it becomes the 7th, hits the 8th or so, that's when you are really looking for that Pokemon news from Coro Coro, and that's when I start losing a lot of sleep, waiting for that Cerebi update, because I believe, like, there's, like, scans that are posted to a forum or something, and then Joe Merrick picks up on it, or he has connections, and then he ends up getting a hold of it to publish to the website. So this is an example of a Coro Coro from back in the 5th generation. This has been going on for a very long time. It's very reliable. We pretty much understand how this is going to work out. As you can see, we can get tons of new Pokemon information. This was happening with 6th gen, a little less so on 7th gen, which was kind of strange, but overall, we're going to get a lot of new Pokemon information, just as we can see right here. It begins once more. We had great feedback with a new Pokedex, Attack Dex, Ability Dex, many other aspects of the site that'll be soon converted to match this new style, since the new black and white details have been out. Then we have all this confirmed information, you know, picture of battle with Reshiram, new Pokemon, their names, even more, and their details. The updates come in pretty rapidly when we start getting these Coro Coro scans. As we can see right here, this was on June 11th. So because Joe Merrick and Cerebi are based in the UK, the dates are going to be flipped around, so really this is the 11th of June, and that's kind of the information that we have. So yeah, we can expect just crazy amounts of Pokemon news whenever Coro Coro goes to leak. But let's look at something more recent. So this is going to be last month's Coro Coro, where there was actually a bit of an anomaly. So we have August of 2017, and we have the 5th of August, but we only got the magazine cover. So sometimes, in like very rare situations, we actually get new information on the cover of Coro Coro that then gets a larger story once we get the leaks and stuff like that. So this is actually done in a much different way for the Does Rock. I guess that's because there was a lot of competition for revealing the new Pokemon form, because most of the time they don't have these watermarks on them, and this is also fairly early as well. On the 8th, we got the confirmation of the Does Rock that was on the cover, and then as we got to the 9th, and then a little further, boom, by the 10th, we had our full Does Rock spread, and then the Pokemon Company kind of picked it up and did their video, and then we got all of our coverage that we needed right there. So let's just kind of go around, you know, that's kind of what's going on right here. Going to show you guys the dates, going to show you guys the expectations, going to show you the varying amounts of news that we've had, because, yeah, after a Pokemon game comes out, you know, by December, January, February, when there's nothing to be announced, there's nothing upcoming, we've already got it. Mostly it's just going to be about exclusive Pokemon promotions, like Pokemon events that are going on in Japan, and sometimes we just don't get any Pokemon news. Like there might be something in the corner of a page that says, look out for Pokemon news in the coming months, and then that's just kind of build hype. So there are times where it's dead, but we're coming up to a new game when we have all of this information that still needs to be revealed. Coro Coro is a pretty good place to be. Now, one thing people might ask is also, why do you call them leaks? That's clickbait, it's not a leak, the information comes out regularly. Well, technically, it is a leak because the magazine's supposed to publish on the 15th, and this is early information that is leaked through reliable sources. That not every single leak is untrustworthy, I think is one way of looking at it, that, you know, there is trustworthy leaks out there if they keep coming from a reputable source, but when it's just posted on 4chan and it's garbage that looks fake, there we go. So that's also why people will try to emulate something that looks like it's from Coro Coro around the time that Coro Coro is supposed to be leaking. That way people might believe that instead of the actual Coro Coro news. So there's kind of like give and take and back and forth right there. So yeah, sometimes, you know, we get new Pokemon, we get new gameplay features, or we just get a full page spread talking about a Ho-Oh event that's going to be Japan only at this time, and we don't have any information about the English stuff. And this was actually pretty late. We have the 13th. So sometimes the information comes out and it's not really that big, or also the leaker, the person that is taking scans from the Coro Coro magazine, if they don't see anything big, they just won't leak it. Like, sometimes they'll even, like, tell Joe Merrick, like, sometimes you'll even see Joe Merrick saying, you know what, my source said there wasn't a lot of information, you know, oh, it's just a ho-oh thing, so they're not going to rush out to leak it yet. And that's why sometimes we'll see late leaks, sometimes we'll see earlier leaks, and as we can see, you know, around the 10th, around stuff like that, not a lot. So yeah, as we get closer to the 15th and we don't have a lot of information, that's where things get pretty bad. Also, if you look at Joe Merrick's Twitter, sometimes he updates like, don't know if Coro Coro's coming tonight, don't know if it's going to be big information, or sometimes it just happens, like out of nowhere, just boom, Coro Coro, holy crap, amazing information, just kind of happens. So let's kind of look at some of the other things. Coro Coro was also really interesting with Pokemon Sun and Moon, kind of like what I was talking about earlier. A lot of the big reveals happened through the Pokemon Company first, and it seems like that Coro Coro did not have a lot to reveal. I think they gave us Mimikyu, Kamala, Rockruff, that was kind of teased for a bit, but a large bulk of the Pokemon that were newly revealed were just on the Pokemon website and through Pokemon trailers and stuff. So yeah, for June 2016, we get all this information, and then they had their nice little Rockruff feature because they published a video like, by the way, that was a new Pokemon, meet Rockruff, and this is what I was talking about with Rockruff being Coro Coro's baby, that, you know, Coro Coro, they didn't get a lot of exclusives, but when they did, it seems like the Pokemon Company let them be the big reveal for a lot of what was going on with Rockruff. I felt the same was going on with Dusklycanroc as well, which is why I felt that Rockruff was going to get a new evolution. So you can use a lot of that history, you can kind of piece together a lot of things, and then let's kind of see what the context we have here. Coro Coro hints that Rowlet, Litten, Iwanko all have a secret. This actually turned out to be a mistranslation, so another thing I kind of want to clear up, a lot of people have been bringing this up for a while, like, oh, what about Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon with their secret? So that did get a little cleared up right there. Let's look at June 2017. So for June 2017, by comparison, we actually had the Pokemon Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon trailer revealed earlier on in the month. So we had June 6th was when we got like our Pokemon Direct and all that information and stuff. But then as we waited into Coro Coro, Coro Coro didn't give us much else. You know, we had our Z move, we had Marshadow event, we had Ho-Oh, and then that was going to be on the 13th. So another late one, which is why people are kind of feeling a little off about Pokemon Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon information, because we're not getting those early Coro Coro leaks that are giving us new Pokemon. However, September, October, November, the game's almost here, guys, so we should be looking at, you know, 2 or 3 Coro Coros of solid information. I feel that this one that should be coming out around September 11th or 12th could be the make or break. That we do get big information around the 11th at some point, but we try to look for like 9th and 10th or so on. So let's go back to some other time. We have Pokemon X and Y. Pokemon X and Y bring us new Pokemon on May 5th right here. So this is where we had just a nice little reveal. I remember actually seeing this, you know, it was all over Twitter. A lot of people posting about it. These were our first looks at some of the new Pokemon that were not starters for the 6th generation. We got Fletchling, and then we had our little electric lizard guy that looks kind of weird to me, honestly. And then everyone freaked out when that Pancham spread. It's like, oh my god, Panda Pokemon, Goat Pokemon, Pokemon 6th generation X and Y, greatest games of all time. I'm just kind of like scrolling around, see if we get any other information, because then you can see, you know, a couple days later, we might get a little bit more information about some of the other things going on, more about the movie, more about Mewtwo Y. So that kind of gets explained pretty well. September 2013. So yeah, September 2013 didn't have much on the 10th. Still like playing around with that X and Y stuff, but then look at all that we got on the 11th. So I mean, the 11th can still bring us a lot of information. We have the evolutions for these starter Pokemon. So we have second stage right there, more new Megas, more new Pokemon revealed, a crazy amount of new Pokemon revealed, and this is still going into September. So it means that, you know, with Pokemon Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon, the news may not be dead just yet. And even if we don't get anything for September, October, November could be huge. I'm expecting that with the Pokemon, or not the Pokemon, the Nintendo Direct on the 13th. Because remember, guys, Coro Coro is supposed to publish on the 15th. So the Coro Coro leaks could very well have the information inside of the Pokemon Direct, or maybe some of it. I'm feeling like the demo. You know, if we get Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon demo, that gets announced September, released in October. I don't want to worry about or think about data mine just yet, so we might get demo information revealed in Coro Coro, more exclusive news for the Pokemon Direct, and then there's going to be a big reveal at the end of the month with one of the question mark toy leaks. So it's kind of coming together in a pretty good way. Still a little slow, but at the same time, we could just get a huge amount of information. So this was kind of catching up on all of the 6th generation Pokemon that had been revealed at that time. I mean, look at how many pages. That takes up a solid chunk of the magazine right there, talking about just the Mega Evolutions and all that fun stuff, and then still giving us new Pokemon, even up until the 11th, leaking to the 12th with starter Mega Evolutions, a little bit more information right there. just clarification, all kinds of good stuff. And then boom, footage on the 13th, guys. This is why news is so important. This is why the history, this is why understanding Coro Coro, understanding past Pokemon and Nintendo Directs brings us all of this information, because we went to an 11th on the Coro Coro during September, and then we went into another trailer. So yeah, what does is it like gave us the English names and the same information, so a little bit more, and then also gameplay footage, bit better than screenshots. Sometimes we also learn more about how the game actually works out and stuff like that, so that's pretty cool. What about September 2014? Because Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire is a lot closer to Pokemon Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon than what we have for Pokemon Sun and Moon or X and Y, that this is the follow-up game, so the information isn't going to be as big. And like I've kind of shown in the past, that when I did a look into Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire versus Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon, the reason why we saw a lot of Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire information is because there were a lot of game features. You know, there was a lot to be explored upon with the new Pokenav and DexNav and stuff. Also, Secret Base is making a very powerful comeback, but Mega Evolutions. Coro Coro had a Mega Evolution to give us since the announcement of the game, and then we were getting a lot of information through that, so it's kind of looking forward to the Megas, while not having much else on the information. So maybe that's what's happening with Pokemon Ultra Sun, Ultra Moon. Then instead of, like, you know, giving up all the information, May, June, July, August, something like that, September is where we can kind of fill in all the gaps, and hopefully that's what I'm looking forward to. So yeah, that's the 11th, that's the 10th, that's more information right there. For August, this was on the 8th. So even with something like Pokemon Ultra Sun, Ultra Moon, Pokemon Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire, we were getting these big leaks on the 8th, giving us, you know, Mega Metagross, some more Mega Evolutions, kind of bringing us these new Megas. So that's pretty cool. And then going into August 8th, a little bit more on the Coro Coro, and then we got the game footage on the 10th, and then we had a Korean leak, and then, yeah, so Coro Coro kind of didn't have a lot, and it did leak really early at that time. Then we have July 2014, so that's kind of it. I don't have many more pages to show, but it's just kind of showing you guys the history. Then we got a little more information about the Mega Deontay. So yeah, I think that's all that there is to it. You know, just kind of showing you guys the dates. It seems like 11th is a bit more common. You know, in the beginning of the video I did say 10th, and that's kind of what I felt, you know. Whenever Coro Coro is coming around, just get ready for the 10th. So, like, okay, here's your stage of alertness for Coro Coro. On the 8th, be cautious. It could happen. On the 9th, be a bit more in tune with it. On the 10th, get ready. On the 11th, it's happening. Doesn't happen by then, maybe not that great on the information, just kind of kick back 12th, 13th. If not, we'll have the information by the 15th. Expect a Pokemon trailer sometimes in that middle of that. You know, Pokemon trailer anywhere from the 10th through the 20th or something like that, sometimes the 17th. You know, there's all kinds of weird dates, but they're in a cluster, you know, they're kind of grouped together. Of course, that just having these trends doesn't mean that Pokemon's going to do the exact thing every time, but the Septembers are kind of lining up. That, you know, we have this soft announcement that kind of translates into something bigger that gets its own video. We saw that with XY, Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire, as well as Pokemon Sun and Moon, and now we're kind of building up to the same thing, because September is that good hype time. If you're going to make a big game announcement 2 months before a holiday release game, seems like a good way to put it back in people's minds, give it a demo, get people really hyped about it, and then that's going to go pretty good. What is throwing us through a loop right now, though, is one thing, and that is going to be Pokken Tournament DX, as well as the Gold Silver Virtual Console. Do they want to have all this news overshadow that, or do they want to pump up some news, get you excited about Pokemon, throw you over to DX for a month, bring you back into demo, throw you back to DX, Gold, Silver, and then the new Pokemon game comes out, boom, Switch 2018. It's pretty crazy, but yeah. So it looks like we're pretty good. This is why whenever I start talking about Coro Coro around the 10th, around the 9th even, sometimes the 8th, if you're really, like, you know, if you're really optimistic, that 8th through 9th time is also when you're really waiting for that Pokemon news, because it's happened. I've been up at 2 in the morning on 8th, on 9th, and be like, oh, Pokemon news. I'm going to be the first one in this video, because I was actually aware of it, you know, something like that. So really, this guys, it shows you what Coro Coro does. Gives you some pretty good information in some situations. Other times, Pokemon Company, they'll kind of, like, you know, pull that information away for their own bigger reveal, so their reveal doesn't get overshadowed. It can happen at any time. I don't know. Like, I get so many comments. I get so many questions about Coro Coro. I want to make sure this video has everything for you guys to understand it perfectly. So, guys, enjoy the video. Hope you all have a nice day. Thank you very much for watching.